Forbes and Yahoo are both out with sketchy but positive long-term reads on Tesla. The stock was up a bit in the early going after beating the market handily yesterday. Talk about that in a second. The market seems to be trying to bounce off of the blowout yesterday, but not 100% sure that's going to happen either. A continuation of yesterday's drop in the 10-year, now joined with a drop in the 2-year yields, both seem headed to possibly break the psychological barriers of 4.5 and 5 point respectively. And oil, on the other hand, is taking another run up and potentially going to break through resistance that was there last week. That's all in the pre-market. And in about 10 minutes, we'll take a look at where things stand right now. And as you know, it could change just in that 10 minutes. Did you miss out yesterday? Brian White and I had a great conversation, and generally speaking, we get massive views. Anyway, it was a hoot, and the information was really quite strong also, and I'll put up a card later on that one. Unless something odd happens, he'll be back midday today to talk about aspects of Optimus that nobody, not any other analyst is talking about. So you want to look forward to that. So that's why you want to hit like, subscribe, notify. And of course, in a bit, we'll talk about this guy and we'll talk about Patreon. Okay. Just as I'm about to start this morning, Tesla tumbled like $3. It was up in the green, dropped into the red. Then it came back up toward the, anyway, it was moving around, but it dropped quite a bit. Now, there are multiple reports out today talking about lower numbers for next Monday. And then one of those, and I'll talk about this more in a little bit, one of those is talking about 2024 won't be that great either with a very low number. Anyway, this small drop, couple $3 like that in the early goings, very rapidly, like in 2 minutes, that could just be some huge whale, Kathy Wood, somebody else selling off. It did bounce back from that $3 to being only $1.50 down or something. Anyway, we'll see. I'm pretty sure that the low number for next Monday is already in the pudding. Something like that. Am I mixing metaphors again? All right. You know how some news resources keep the same story up day after day and week after week because they're getting traction from the headline. This is particularly true of like CNBC. If you look at their stuff, it's like, I'm seeing that headline over and over. Well, there's been this one that's been up on the Wall Street Journal's Apple news feed for, I'm pretty sure 3.5 weeks now. And the headline is, Tesla unveils refreshed Model 3 with longer range and a steeper price tag. That's, literally for 3 or 4 weeks now. So that particular headline and thumbnail must be getting them very good numbers because they keep it up. I think that's really some cool news. Costco. I know I don't normally report on Costco. I'm a big fan of Costco. Costco had a good earnings report, but they reiterated what others have been saying, that total revenues are dropping due to big ticket items slowing. And I've talked about this before. I am expecting a turnaround of those big ticket items next spring. When you have a boom bust economy like we just did, in particular, the way this one played out, you had people with all that extra money in their pockets and they went out and bought the refrigerator and the dryer or the washer dryer, and they bought the bicycle in my industry. And then all of a sudden, as somebody else did, Kathy would say it this way, the inventory is now in homes and garages. Okay. And so you need to work through that situation to where you now have another group of folks who are badly in need of that next refrigerator or washer dryer. So right now it appears that we're in a slowdown in that regard, and multiple retailers have reported it. Now Costco is adding themselves to that mix. On the other hand, the durable goods order report was out this morning, and it ticked up in August much more than expected. So durable goods orders rose 0.2% in August. That was compared with a negative 0.5 that was expected, and a 5.6% drop revised from a negative 5.2 seen in July, led by a 0.5% increase in machinery orders. Now that's really good news. New orders for durable goods have risen in 5 of the last 6 months. So we're seeing a rise in durable goods showing up in this reporting, but not in retail. But the point that was just made is some of that is in machinery, and of course, part of it's also in transportation. Automobiles are doing very well. Excluding transportation, core durable goods orders advanced 0.4%, compared with the 0.1% rise expected in the prior month's 0.1% decrease. Now that was revised. That had shown a 0.5% increase. That was revised to a 0.1% decrease. So we might see a similar revision next month because maybe these numbers are just incorrect with regard to durable goods, excluding auto. There's a new video out this morning by the Tesla engineering team in China. Lars Moravi, the vice president of vehicle engineering at Tesla, conducted tests on the updated Model 3, now called the Model 3 Plus, I believe. The story tells how the Model 3 Plus was mostly designed by the China team. So that's pretty interesting. That was kind of the point they were trying to make, although it's also just a good video showing off some of the new features on the Model 3 that we are all already familiar with. I'm not going to go through those again. Trueflation is still hanging steady at 2.55 as we get one day closer to Friday's PCE report. Wouldn't it be lovely? Wouldn't it just be nice to kind of get that behind us? Maybe the PCE comes in really, really good and everybody can just go, because there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of folks saying different things about what's going to happen at the Fed meetings in November and December. And they're all over the place. And I would say, though, if I was going to, without actually doing a consensus, I'm pretty sure the consensus right now thinks there's not going to be any more increases this year, but there's not going to be any decreases either. And we're going to be well into 2024 before we see decreases. Deutsche Bank, as I mentioned above, reduced their Q3 2023 estimate to 440,000 units. That's 6% down from its previous 455,000 units. Now, that brings it into kind of the range that you've been hearing from Pierre Fiar. I'm not going to get it right. And from Troy Teslike, it's 6. They got FactSet reporting now. The analyst consensus is at 462. That's only down from 466. I don't think it's going to be at 466 or 462, but I also don't think that the street thinks it's going to be 462 either. Looking at 2024, however, this is also from Deutsche Bank, we are seeing considerable downside risk to earnings expectation due to a much lower volume outlook than the market believes, analysts stated on a client note. On the bright side, with the company not trying to push up as much volume, there could potentially be less pricing pressure next year, analysts said. The investment bank forecast that Tesla's total deliveries next year would be around 2.1 million, below the market consensus of 2.3 million deliveries. That's ridiculous. That's nonsense. So if we end up at 1.8, 1.83 this year, something like that, Tesla says they want to hit 50% per year. That'd be 900,000 more. That would take us to 2.7. They're saying the street is at 2.3 and they're at 2.1. But we're going to get almost all of that additional just out of Cybertruck, much less Model Y continuing to ramp in Berlin and Austin, and Model 3 reset now being able to produce more in all the facilities where the 2 facilities where those are being made. I don't know if we'll hit 2.7 next year. I think we only need to hit around 2.5 to continue the 50% per year. I don't have that in my head, but it's roughly in that ballpark. Anyway, I think this is completely wrong, but it could have been the reason for the slight drop in the stock just a little while ago. As I mentioned, Brian and I spent a lot of time on the video yesterday discussing Tesla's number for Monday. I think I'm going to go with 435 produced and 455 shipped. I'm very, very light on this particular estimate. Don't tie me down on this one. My way of doing this is not like anybody else's way of doing it. It's very broad. It's not like getting into the nitty gritty. It's taking a look at everybody else's numbers. It's taking a look at what Elon has said, what the companies have said, how Troy gets to his numbers, how other people get to their numbers. I take all that into consideration. I come out with my number. In this particular case, people are so all over the place that I am not feeling really strongly about my number, and quite frankly, don't care. As I mentioned the other day, what I care about is that we end up at 1.83 roughly for the year. That's where I am. I'm sticking with that, and I care more about Q3 and Q4 together. Elon seems to be enjoying his new role as statesman. He is now headed to the southern border to check out the influx of immigration for himself. Fortune has a headline this morning: can Elon Musk really save the world? To which I say, well, he's gone a long way along the path to making the world more wealthy and cleaning up our atmosphere. So. Maybe we'll see about the rest. But Elon is now a world leader. He is the president of companies. And he now is meeting with other world leaders, going to Mexico to check out immigration. Where is the president of the United States who actually has the title? Shouldn't he be doing some of these things? Anyway, as mentioned earlier, I am going to put that card up there about the Brian White conversation. Let's take a look at where the market is right now. Yes, Tesla has recovered. I'm saying that was a whale who sold off something. It had nothing to do with that reporting. So Tesla's up a half a buck. The market, let's do this. The market is up barely 0.09%. The NASDAQ, however, is up 0.5%. S&P is up close to about 1/3%, and Tesla is up about 1/3%. We've got the magnificent 7 or 8 or however many you're counting now, all up this morning. NVIDIA, again, more strongly than the rest. Interesting how NVIDIA is now bouncing off that massive amount of loss that it had after its massive amount of gain. Does that sound familiar? Oh, let's see. Tesla went way, way up, and then it went way, way down, and then okay. So NVIDIA is starting to follow some of that Tesla crazy, wild swing stuff. It makes it look, I think you already know the story. I don't have to say any more. Okay, let's take a look. What are the Apple had a crazy situation where a bunch of thieves broke into one of their stores, I think in Philadelphia, another one of these big stories, with Target closing 5 stores in inner cities, following Nordstrom's and Walgreens and other people closing stores. Our inner cities are in real trouble. Where is the leadership in our country? If I wasn't 75, I think I would be looking for an opportunity to run for office somewhere. I can't believe how horrible the leadership is in the overall leadership right now. How can we not get these inner cities under control? How can we not? Am I beginning to rant? What's going on with these inner cities? They look like third world countries. There's got to be a way to solve this. I have multiple ways that I think we could solve this. And I think we just need to look at how Beverly Hills is solving it. They don't have any of this problem. So I don't know. Okay, the Cathie Woods are all up strongly this morning. I guess what we're seeing right now is the bonds are down, or let's double check that. They were earlier. So the bonds had been going down earlier. Let's see what's going on now. Let's start with crypto. Bitcoin is up strongly this morning. The dollar continues to be up strongly this morning. Gold is way off this morning. It's down almost to 1,900. That's the lowest I've seen it in the 8 months that I've been doing this. Oil is way up this morning at 92.52. I'm thinking that we're going to be breaking out towards that 100 I've been talking about. And bonds are down this morning, but not as much as they were. They are recovering. In fact, let's see here. Let's look at all of them. The 2-month is now up to at 5.452. The 2-year is unchanged at this exact moment. The 3-month is unchanged. Boy, look at that. Interesting. Everything's unchanged. But the 10-year, that's the one that we've been talking about. It's looking like it's trying to break back down below that 4.5. Right now it's at 4.526. Boy, that would be lovely to see it break down below 4.5. I think that would be a real good direction. I have the hiccups all of a sudden this morning. Where did that come from? Anyway, so that's where we are as we move along this morning. I'm just going to look at Tesla one more time. It's down just a little bit again. So it's bouncing and bouncing around right around break even. It wouldn't be a great moment on this show if I didn't talk to you at least a little bit about the Cybertruck opener, the Cyber opener, as I'm now calling it. The Cyber opener is selling really, really well. I think my sales are up more than Tesla's. I know they're up more than Ford's. So anyway, it's a bottle opener, of course. It is a magnet, a refrigerator magnet. It is 3 millimeters thick, just like the Tesla Cybertruck is. It is $25. You buy it by going on PayPal. The information is down below in the description, paypal.me/Randy Kirk. Keep on buying these because it's really, really good. Coming into the close of the month, I'm trying to get my numbers for the end of the month. I mean, we all do that, right? I mean, I'll be reporting, and when I report, my stock could go up, my stock could go down. Anything's possible. And then if you'd like to join Patreon, you can get a free book if you join at the $5 level. You can get 2 free books if you join at the $10 level, or you can get a free camo Cybertruck or regular stainless steel if you join at the $10 level. It would be lovely if you would stay on board on Patreon for more than a month or two. Like 3 would be good, because that would then pay for the truck. That would be the perfect solution. And you'd get all the benefits of being a Patreon member, like helping to produce the show. You realize that that's part of how I can stay alive as a producer of a channel like this. It's not free. I have 2 full-time employees in the Philippines helping me out with this show and other things that I do. Of course, they're not just 100% for this show. Hey, I think that's enough said. I'll be talking to you a couple more times today. Looking forward. Remember, Wednesday afternoon, we do the midweek recap. You want to watch that one as well. So hit like, hit notify, hit all those things. And we'll talk to you later. It's been great talking to you.